All right, morning everybody. So obviously I'm out today, and I don't want to lose time, so I'm going to see if we can kind of keep this going. Um, we'll see what happens. So this is my first attempt. So again, sorry I'm out today. This is not great timing, but whatever. We're flexible. So here's what I'm hoping happens is that we can do kind of an abridged or a shortened, modified lesson today, um, with the help of our substitute. So what's going to happen is you're going to go get your journals and get your pen. Mark the journal the same way we've been doing, which is simply draw a line under the last activity we did, and then just put the date in the top right corner underneath that line, and then you'll just kind of do your work there, and I can check your journals that way. So that's what we're going to do. So if you would pause the video and go do that first step, and once everyone has their journals up and ready, go ahead and press play. All right, so I'm assuming you did just that. So we're going to start out with a quick little warm-up activity as always. And what I want you to do in your journal, spend a couple minutes. So again, we'll pause this video in a second. And what I'd like you to do is discuss in your journal, not with each other yet, is how many ways can you represent the number 7? Obviously, up on the screen, there's your first representation, but how else can you come up with representing the number 7? So what you can do is pause this video again and take about 4 minutes to write down as many ways as you can. So go ahead and pause. So hopefully you paused and these silent breaks aren't too bad. And hopefully you came up with a bunch of different ways, right? So some stuff I usually see other than the number 7 is just simply write out the number 7. There's obviously lots of different languages in which we could represent 7, right? You've got, this will be terrible. Spanish would be like what, sete, and sept would be French, and that's all I know. But I know there's probably other ways. We could do pictures, right? We could do dots. We could do tally marks. We could do different types of math, like 5 plus 2, 8 minus 1. Those are all different ways. We could do like shapes with different sides. So there's a lot of different ways that you can represent 7. The idea is really that the number 7 is just for using the number 7, the 2 lines, is the common way of using it, but really there's lots of different symbols that we could do such a thing. All right, so now let's move into the activity for the day. So what you're going to do, and remember, computer science is about information and how you represent it and communicate it. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and you can do this in partners, you can move around if you want, or you can just kind of just work with who's next to you. But what I want you to do is I want you to create a pattern. Now, yesterday when we were learning how to communicate, we definitely found the value and how much easier it was to talk when there was just 2 responses, right? So the first time we made our device, you had to answer a question that had 2 answers: yes, no, blue, red, whatever. And then it got more complicated the more variations we had to develop. So let's go back to keeping things simple. Let's just work with 2 things. So what I'm going to ask you to do is using just a circle and a square to create as many different combinations and patterns of them in 3 place values. So what does that mean? Well, look at the slide, right? These are 2 quick examples. One way of using just circles and squares in 3 place values would be to have simply 3 circles next to each other like you see on the screen. Another example would be to throw a square in there, right? So go ahead and take a look at that, and you can see, oh, okay, so it's circle, circle, circle. Another example would be circle, square, circle, and such. So what I want you to do is pause the video and make as many different 3 place value combinations using just these 2 shapes. You're going to end up with quite a few of them, so spend some time and really think about it. Before I do, sorry, I know I said pause. Before I do let you go too far, try to see if you can do it in some type of a pattern, meaning don't just randomly put these down. Like, is there some type of, start to formulate maybe a rule for how this might happen. All right, pause and give this a try. All right, so we should be back. So at this point, if you look, there should be 8 answers on your sheet. If you don't have all 8, okay, but let's figure out which ones you might be missing. So do me a favor, wherever you're sitting, just turn to the other person next to you and just compare your answers for a minute. See if there's anything that you missed. And go ahead and pause. All right, so now we're back again. Um, so what I want you to think about is what did you notice? What did you miss? We're gonna skip this slide. I'm not gonna have you share out because I won't be there to do it. All right, so go back to your journal, and you can stay with your partner. But we're just going to kind of do these 3 quick little challenges. You've actually already done the first one, which is to record all the 3 value, sorry, the 3 place values set up. So here's what your next challenge is going to be in your journal, which is based on what you did and how you created it, what are some rules that you could come up with for how your pattern is made? If you don't have any rules, you might need to go back and look at the answers you came up with. And is there a way that you could kind of come up with a set of rules so that you end up with the same combinations, right? You don't want to just be randomly putting down circles and squares. There's got to be some type of setup that you come up with. Now, this is not easy, so you're going to pause this video and you're going to work for several minutes, and you can work as a class even if you want to. What does it look like to have rules to explain how you come up with all 8 possible variations? So go ahead and pause, and then we'll come back one more time. All right, so let's finish up, and hopefully today went okay. And I'll definitely review and help you out. But let's move on to challenge 3. So based on the rules you just came up with, can you now apply them if we were to change it from 3 place values to 4 place values? So again, look to the bottom right corner of this slide. You'll see what I'm talking about, where you have 4 instead of 3. So take the rest of class, because it could take a while. Can you produce all the different combinations and patterns using 4 place values using just these 2 shapes? And when you do it, can you do it using the rules you just wrote? If you can't, how do you have to modify those rules? So that's where I'm going to stop today. You can stop the video, and when I come back, we'll see what you came up with. But what am I looking for in your journal? I'm looking for these 3 things. I'm looking for the patterns out of 3. I'm looking for a list of rules, and I'm looking for as many patterns as you can come up with for the 4. All right. Hopefully this went okay-ish today, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you for your help, and have a great rest of your day. And that's it.